Okay, now we're going to talk about the last area in customizing, or the last basic area in customizing POs or purchase orders, which is the layout designer. So if I come down into my template list and I right click and I edit my template, so it takes me to my basic customization, and now I'm going to go into the layout designer. Okay, so the layout designer is where we can do just a ton of information with edits, right? So in the invoice layout designer, we go through a lot of this information, but I'll show it to you quickly here as well. Hopefully you've already seen that video. So all of these boxes, now that we're in the layout designer, are drag and drop, so you can move things around. The little blue windows are supposed to be your envelope windows, so you kind of have an idea where that's going to fall. If you want to make things larger, smaller, like your logo, you can drag it, make it larger. I have Fourlane logo in here, so maybe I don't need the name, so I can just right click and remove it, remove that box here. Okay, if I needed to edit, so maybe ship to, I wanted to call it ship to address, so I can go in and edit that, change the ship to address, change the justification, maybe the font, the color, so let's change it to be a bright red color, okay, and maybe a bigger. Okay. Now if I like that format and I want to use it in other places, I just highlight that box or click on that box and I select copy format, and then I have this little paintbrush and I can just click on the other boxes that I want to match that format. Alright, when I'm done I can hit end format and it'll stop copying. In the layout designer, this is the only place we have an undo button in QuickBooks, right? So I can hit undo if I didn't want to do that part. If I needed to have copy, not only so I could copy the format, I can also copy the size of boxes or duplicate the size of boxes. So let's say that the date field here, I want it actually to be a little bit wider. Okay, so I can come in here, I select the one I want to change, then I hit the shift key and select the one I want it to be like, and then select size. So it puts them in the exact same size, height and width. If I just wanted them to be the same height, of course I would just hit height or width here, but size does both. Okay, and then again, the one I want to change, I select first. The one I want it to be, I select second, size, and it'll change it for me. Okay. I can add data fields in here. So there are different fields available, obviously, on a PO side, because we're pulling things from not only our company, but we're pulling from the vendor now, not the customer, right? So there's going to be different fields that we can add in here. So vendor, alternate contact, phone number, vendor, credit limit, email, etc. Right? So just some different fields that we can add in there. If we did want to add a long disclaimer at the bottom, all we have to do is come into these boxes down here and move them up a little. Right. Oops. And then I can add down below here, instead of using that footer field, right, when we did the additional customization, I can come in here and just add a text box and say whatever I wanted to say. Please ship ASAP and contact Marjorie for any questions. Right, change the justification, any border information, color. Right, the font was down below here. So it adds it to the middle. I can just drag it down to the bottom, make it wider here. So there's a lot of things you can add as additional information. I've seen people add, multiple addresses along the bottom. So if you have multiple locations, they'll add the multiple addresses along the bottom of the PO. Or, if you've changed your address or anything like that, and you want to notify your vendors on their purchase orders, I've seen, big, bold boxes on the bottom, maybe in red, right, that stand out that says we've moved. So things like that can be added down below. Okay. All right, so that is the layout designer for purchase orders.